Welcome to your winter solstice reading, and this is going to be for the season starting on December 21st, 21. So you have this 12, 21, 21 numbers going on here. You got the 12 and the 21, which is very much a mirrored effect. Plus 1 plus 2 is 3, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So you got a 3, and a 3. So 3 threes. Huge amount of creativity that's going to be coming around this winter solstice. So I'm excited to see what Spirit has to tell us about those 3 months. Also, of course, winter solstice is the beginning of Capricorn season. I will have a different video for Capricorn for that season coming up, so keep an eye out for that as well. But this reading is going to be a pick-a-bear reading, and so you're going to have a choice of 3 different bears, and you can choose as many as you want. You're going to have the brown bear, the black bear, and the polar bear. And I'll have timestamps for each one of those in the description box below if you want to jump ahead to the other bear. We're going to start, of course, with the brown bear. And we're going to be asking the question, what's going into hibernation? So we're going to just ask what is falling away, what is kind of shrinking in our life, at least for this 3-month period. And with that shrinking, with all this creativity going on, what is going to take its place as it shrinks? Because there's always a certain amount of energy in our lives, and as one changes, it makes room for something else. So I'm excited to jump right in, and like I said, we're going to start with Mr. Brown Bear first, and if you chose one of the other bears, just click on the timestamp below and you'll jump ahead. So let's get started. All right, all my Cancer signs, if you chose reading number 1, which is the brown bear, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card from these Surrender Oracle cards, and that's just going to show us what the Creator wants you to know about what's going into hibernation just overall for this next 3-month winter solstice period. All right, Creator, for our brown bear Cancer signs, what do you want them to know about hibernation? Okay, like this is the one right here. You got surrender to effortlessness. Sit back and swing, and I'll let you see that, and I'll read it here. And it says, stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. So all that effort that's been being put forth in your life of trying to control the flow of the river, all that swimming upstream, getting a face full of water, all that is going into hibernation to allow you to flow with life instead of trying to control, like I said, the flow of the river. We're going to, of course, dig more deeply into these, and we're going to pull a card here also from this animal spirit deck here and see what else the Creator wants you to know. All right, so what else for our brown bear? Okay, I really feel like you have 2 here. And the first one is the firefly. Beautiful. All this bright orange and yellow. And then you have the shark. All right, let me just line those up here. And let's see, first of all, what the firefly message is that comes there. Oops, sorry, wrong section. There it is. So this is inspired and fantastic, yet fleeting. The firefly contains the light of 1,000 stars. It's pure, radiant, and illuminating. And this high-frequency charge cannot be sustained for long. Therefore, the firefly card indicates a moment of inspiration or awakening that quickly fades if we do not catch it. There's firefly energy behind every poem, song, and invention. Our job is to be ready to harness this creative spirit when it graces our path. What can you do to support this precious and elusive light? When you're in balance with this energy, then you write, you create, you brainstorm. When you're out of balance, you burn out and you feel dull. So to bring this energy into balance, it says write a poem or draw, do something creative, right? And I really feel like these are relating to each other in that, you know, when you're swimming upstream and you're trying to control everything, oh my gosh, you wear out, right? You get exhausted because it's like trying to herd, cats. You're just going to get exhausted trying to get them all into one place because they're going to scatter and go wherever they're going to go, right? So this is about when this hibernates, when all this effort hibernates, that when that effortlessness comes in and you're flowing, you're going to have so much energy, and then you're going to be able to harness that energy during this time. So as this energy starts to be conserved and being pulled away from trying to control everything in the outside world, you're going to have this inner brightness, like the little firefly when his little bottom, starts to become illuminated, that you're going to be able to focus that energy in a specific direction for your life and internally, which then will flow outwards, but it's not about trying to control all the outward things. So let's see what the shark energy brings in here for you. Okay. This is directness, exposure, revealing true nature and desire. Perfect. So the shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it. This card indicates that some big needs need to be exposed. It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, or to say what we really want. It may be tempting to continue pretending nothing is wrong, but when shark energy is at play, we feel its presence encircling us, right? You hear the Jaws music. And when you're in balance with this energy, then you're intriguing, you're captivating, you're mysterious. But when you're out of balance with this, you're sneaky and destructive. So to bring this energy into balance, it's about being honest with yourself. And this is perfect with what we were talking about here, because it's trying to control all this outside things, trying to make all this stuff happen, and all this energy that you've been exerting in the outside world, when it's coming back to you on the inside, this is the energy that's telling you, be honest with what you really want in life, not what you're supposed to and what you've been told, but what do you really want in life, and direct that energy toward that. So the dream, the unspoken dream, the hidden dream, the forgotten dream, the abandoned dream, all of that wants to be heard now, and it wants this energy to be put toward it. So beautiful, beautiful. We're going to, of course, dig a little more here, just for the overall theme. And these are the Ancestor Tarot. And I'm just going to see what else the Creator wants you to know about this. Just this beautiful story that's unfolding here about living your dreams, living the dream. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Prince of Cups. So Prince of Cups, cups are your emotions. The Prince would be like the Knight of Cups in the regular suit. And so this is all about movement of your emotions, movement of action. You can see the little spark here. This is the spark of inspiration. And it can also be like a tower moment where something's changing in your life so that you can have this movement of this emotion from deep within. I kind of look at this as a little bit, especially with this lightning bolt in this particular card, this spark, this new spark of passion from within you to live the dream that you want to live. And you can see there's all this yellow that is represented in all of these except for the shark here. But all this yellow is about your solar plexus chakra, and that is the relationship to yourself. Whereas the root chakra, the red one, is about your relationship to groups, and the orange is your relationship to another individual. The solar plexus is about your relationship to you. So all that red and that orange that's been in the outside, this is about refining it and bringing it back to you, bringing it back to this relationship about how you feel about yourself, about what you want in the world. So really getting to know you. So we'll dig even more deeper. We're going to use these tarot of dreams. And we're going to break this out by the 3 months within the winter solstice, which will be 12/21 to 1/21, 1/21 to 2/21, and 2/21 to 3/21, which brings you up to the spring equinox. So we'll just go one more time here. All right. So for 12/21 to 1/21, what else do you want our Cancer sign of the brown bear to know? Okay, you want that one there. Okay, any others? Okay, thought there was going to at least be one more. Anything else? Okay, yep, and then these two. Okay, and then what about 1/21 to 2/21? Okay, what else? Those two. Anything else? Nope. And then what about 2/21 to 3/21? Okay, got that there. What else? Okay. Anything else? Okay. Okay, and I feel like these two are just kind of, okay, and that one too. This one too? No, this one's over here. Okay. So these are going to be overall just kind of like a final summary. So for 12/21 to 1/21, yeah, we got the Judgment card here. So this is, double X's, double endings and double beginnings. And this is about understanding that you're more than this human character that you're playing, that you are this powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. All these judgments that you have, again, all this yellow, getting to know you, all this energy that you've been investing into this human part of yourself, that's all about the judgment, the kind of contrast, the comparing, trying to do all this stuff from the outside world. And we're, all those supposed to's and shoulds and need to's and have to's. Those are all those judgments of our ego and our fear from the outside world, just to see, am I lovable? Am I acceptable? Am I successful? And this is all about connecting to the higher true you that you find within these deep waters, like with this shark energy, right? So this is definitely in line with this first month. You're really getting to know yourself there. And then you have the Queen of Coins, which is would be the Queen of Pentacles in other decks. This is like Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. Really reminds me of the Empress a lot, with creativity, with expressing, with feeling birthed. But I really feel like this is a strong message of being self-nurturing. One of the big things the Queen learns, along with like the King, because they're so far in the suit of the Coins and Pentacles, they understand that they find their worth from within, not from without, because they've been through trying to fulfill themselves and going through all that journey of the outside worth to find it just leaving them feeling empty. And so they discover true worth of the outside world is found from the inside out, not from the outside in. So definitely in alignment with what's going on here. Yeah, Six of Wands. So wands are your drive, your ambition, your spark, your aha inspiration, and your spiritual energy too. You can see this giant spark here, and the Six of Wands is all about recognition. And you'll see like all these other wands down below going, yay, and cheering this person on. And I really feel like some of this, this is a general reading, so, for some of you, it's that you did get the recognition from the outside, and it was like, it just left you feeling empty, like we were talking about with this Queen of Pentacles. Others never had it, but you just exhausted, like we were talking about with that river, that you're trying to get all this external validation and you just can't seem to ever do enough. Well, all these other ones here are going to be from the upper world. These are your spirit guides, your angels and guardian angel, your loved ones on the other side, your ancestors, any of those other beings of unconditional love and light that you believe in on the other side, whether it's unicorns and fairies, spirit, of course, and the creator. They are showing you who you really are, that just for being who you are, not for what you're doing, but just because of who you are, you shine bright like this firefly. And this is kind of like this energy that you find within you, and then you're able to see what it is you truly want to do with your life, like how you uniquely want to share your unconditional love with the world. Yeah, because here you go. And you have the 9 of coins, the 9 of pentacles. The 9, a lot of the 9s are about finding the source within, because she's in this garden by herself, except for her winged padres here, which are all these winged individuals, representing spirit on the other side, that you're finding this contentment and wholeness from within, like we've been talking about. So beautiful recognition of this first month of what is sparking this, and it's becoming aware of who you are, self-nurturing, looking beyond the physical world, and looking within to find this wholeness and this completeness, the spark of your worth, and really the dream that you're wanting to fulfill. And then it brings us into 121 to 221, which you have the 7 of Cups. So many emotions to choose from, so many things. So I really feel like you're expanding beyond the have tos, the shoulds, the need tos. Sometimes this is about confusion and confusing emotions, and just, being, feeling like you are, like, in this river, caught in these rapids. But this really, for me, for this reading, is you're identifying just this power of choice, of that you get to choose what emotions mean. I mean, you really are learning from the outside world that, when you try to rely on that, that's all unstable out there. But you're seeing that no matter what happens in the future, you still get to choose what it means. You get to choose what emotion you're going to feel. So as you let go of this, trying to control this flood of your emotions of your life, and you're learning to just flow with it, you're also realizing, wait a minute, there's a bunch of emotions in here, and why am I choosing this one? And then you're realizing that the outside world will tell you their popular opinion of, you're supposed to feel this way when that happens. Supposed to. You should. You need to. You have to. And you realize, well, not everyone that goes through the same situation is impacted the same way emotionally as everyone else. So it must not be the situation that you're going through that determines how you're supposed to feel about it. But it's the person going through this situation that gets to decide. And so this becomes a very empowering card for you as you transform and understand those beliefs during this time here. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, because you got Ace of Coins. So this is a gift from the spirit, the gift from the other side, pentacles, or coins. This is about new opportunities that present themselves to you. And I would challenge you that actually the solutions to things were always there. You just didn't see them because you were blinded by the supposed tos and the shoulds. You were trying to control so much in the outside world, and really trying to pursue something that was not your dream. It's a dream that was given to you, that this is about you seeing opportunities where you didn't see opportunities before. So let's say you had a dream that you abandoned a long time ago because you're like, there's just no way that I can do that. And when you had that belief, and you had heard and listened to all that, naysaying of your dreams outside of you, you told yourself it enough to where you believed it. But now you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're like, you know what? I don't care. I want to do whatever it takes to do it. And suddenly this little road of how things have to happen, you are finding your what, and the how you're leaving more and more wide open to where these opportunities do present themselves to you, where you're like, oh, I didn't even see that. Like for me, most recently, I didn't think I was going to be moving and moving back to what I consider my hometown of Colorado Springs. And I couldn't see that I would move back here because it was expensive and I didn't have current employment that would be needed to get an apartment, blah, 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 blah. And so I had this, I don't see how it could happen. And then a beautiful friend of mine opened up her basement to me and said, come live with me. Don't worry about, rent and stuff, we'll work it all out. And I'm like, wow, didn't see a way. And suddenly, it just changed like that. And that's the kind of thing that you'll see is where you didn't even see a way, and then it just blindsides you because it was there all along. All right, yeah. And then you have the 5 of Wands. 5 is about transformation of belief and perspective. And the Wands, of course, are the fire, the drive, the ambition, kind of we were talking about. And you can see like all these people, this looks like conflict. This looks like, for me, it's inner conflict, and this transformation that's happening is like this. Whenever I get this card, I see like this little kung fu movie going on that's kind of playing out in here, where you just see these, 5 individuals are battling against each other, and they have their, big wands, and they're all and they're beating each other, and finally it gets down to where there's just one standing, first thought it looked like a war or a battle, and they were fighting for their lives. And then they all bust up laughing, they help each other up, and they all, buddy, arms around each other's shoulder, walking down to the, cafeteria of the monastery, where these were actually Zen, monks that were they weren't trying to hurt each other, they were just helping each other improve their skills, and now they're going to go eat. And so this transformation of this energy of there's so much conflict and oh my gosh, right? And then suddenly you see this change, you see this flip, like I was talking about, the whole energy changes in your life, where you don't see the stress, you don't see all this effort that you're putting forward. It's like you're just letting it go, and that's changing the whole outlook that you have for your path, which is great. So transformational, which brings you into 221 to 321, and you got the 3 of Cups. Now the Cups is about celebration, but the 3 of Cups can also be, those things that you were looking outside of yourself for your fulfillment. We've got our relationships with others, whether that's romantic or friends or family or work or with our fur babies or feather babies. You've got your situations like your job and your education. You got your physical things in the outside world, like your body and your possessions and your bank account and all these things. You start to look at it in a different way, where you celebrate and are grateful for, especially, with this Prince of Cups happening. It's like this transformation, whereas before you thought these things were supposed to fill you up, you realize that you're finding this fulfillment from within, and those things are just extra and above and beyond. And so there's this celebration, there's this gratitude and thankfulness, because you're finding everything from within, and everything on the outside becomes extra. So it's above and beyond in its abundance. Whereas before, when you were looking for those things as the ultimate, then they were falling short because they weren't bringing you what you really needed, which is what you find from inside, right? So you also have the Hermit from inside. So I was just saying, so this is all about, digging deep, finding this light within you. So, you don't have to become this hermit, literally a hermit, where you're not spending time with other people, but it is this reiteration and reinforcement of this self-nurturing of this Queen of Pentacles and Coins, because this is about making sure you spend time with yourself in quietness, digging deep within, because that's where you find the answers, in the quietness and from within. This light is you, your soul, it's your higher self, it's your connection to the spirit realm, which also the 3 of Cups does have a special meaning for me with my guides, because of a reading that I did years ago, where it represents the spiritual world as well, our guides and our support team and our angels. So this together is really telling me it's important that you take time in quiet, away from all the noise, away from all the effort, to really zoom in and understand, one, your clearer connection with the other side, clear understanding of what you want, but also listening for guidance, because they're the ones that are bringing in these opportunities where they weren't before. So you'll get answers by connecting and spending that time within yourself. Yeah. Then you have the 6 of coins. Again, more pentacles. So you've got coins, 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 coins. So there's this abundance coming in, whether it is financial abundance, but I feel like for majority of you, it's about inner abundance. I call this the codependency card because it is about all this learning of that you get to receive as well as give. And we have this kind of mentality within our lives that if I'm not able to give to others, then I'm nothing and they won't want to be around me, because people only want me around on what I can give, not what, just because of who I am. So we give, and we don't allow people to receive to us because we're taught in a lot of our, society that's weak, and that, fear that, because if people don't need you, then you're out with the bathwater, right? But this is about understanding that just because of who you are worthy to receive. And so there's this beautiful transformation that comes with that too. I mean, you got the 6 of Wands here, which was about being recognized, by the higher realms, and you recognizing that you're recognized. And this is like this transformation too that comes in of you are worthy to receive. And the creator of all things is our source. They're the ones that bring that in for us, right? They supply our every need, and everyone else is just the middleman that brings it to us anyway. So, really getting grounded in your worth and who you are allows you to be open to receiving abundance in a variety of ways. Yeah. And then you have the 8 of Cups. And the 8 of Cups, you can see here, again, cups are emotions, and you are realizing those emotions and that emotional energy that you're ready to let go of. And I kind of feel with this colorization here is the same of the Hermit here, that this is a lot of what you do during this month is you're realizing a lot through what you're learning of what you're ready to let go of. All this emotional energy you're investing really comes to fruition during this final month. You're just realizing a lot, growing and learning more and more. And here you're just taking all these steps to let go of the emotional energy that's no longer serving you. It served you for a time. You learned, okay, I get exhausted when I try to control everything in the outside world, and it's disappointing me anyway. So where do I find this abundance? Where do I find this beautiful, transformation here? And then they want you to look at all these 3 at once here. So you've got your, your 10 of Swords, which this is swords, all your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your expectations, your attitudes. So these are all the things that have been exhausting you, all that effort you've been trying to put in to make all these shoulds and supposed to's and need to's come to fruition. So you're exhausted, but 10 is endings and new beginnings. So you're definitely realizing what you're ready to let go of here. And it's creating this beautiful Palace of Swords. Palaces are unique to this deck. And so you have the Ace of Swords here, you have the Knight of Swords here, several of them. So this is movement in thoughts and beliefs. And this Ace of Swords allows you to see the capital T truths of your inner self in the higher worlds as you let go of these small t truths of the ego and of fear that were trying to, make you do all those things you should and supposed to and need to and have to. But this creates this beautiful place in your mind of your higher truths and your higher mind. So as these go bye-bye, because this Ace of Swords allows you and gives you the power to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that no longer serve you. A lot like this 8 of Cups, you're letting go of emotions that no longer serve you. You're just freeing up your mind and your heart for so much more, which brings you the Knight of Coins, the Knight of Pentacles. So Pentacles, 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 this is movement in your abundance, both in your worth and your abundance. The Knight of Pentacles, or the Knight of Coins in this deck, is the slower moving of the 4 knights, because the other knights have to do with swords are your mind, cups are your heart, and wands are your spark and your drive. All those things happen inside of you, so they can move like this. You can make all this internal movement, all this internal change. Whereas the pentacles are more the outside world, and they have the seasons. I mean, this, of course, we're talking about one of the seasons, the winter solstice. There's a time, 3 months for winter, 3 months for spring, 3 months for summer, 3 months for fall. And so things go in their order. And so it's about patience, throughout this 3 months. Just know that it takes time for things to make its way from the inside out. So you're going to feel a lot of the change happening on the inside, but you may not see a ton of reflection of things happening on the outside, besides these opportunities that are showing themselves. But just be patient as it unfolds, is what that message is for this whole winter solstice. Is just be patient. Winter happens for a reason, on purpose, for a purpose. And then lastly, we're going to pull a card here from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle. And just see what the final message the Creator has for all of you Cancer signs of the brown bear. One more time. All right. What's your final message for our Cancer signs of the brown bear, please? Nope, none of those. Okay. Okay, there we go. And you got the Lady. And it says, enjoy growth and reap rewards. So this is so much like the Queen of Coins and the Empress. And it kind of sums everything up, right? Enjoy the growth, it takes time, and reap the rewards, which it was all talking about through all of this as well. So, definitely, again, it's a general reading, but so definitely you're going to feel inner reward, and then for a good portion of you too, you're going to have that financial and external abundant reward as well. So the Lady, the message for this card is you reap what you have sown and you enjoy the fruits of your labor. Excuse me, grow and expand in all areas of your life. The Lady, known as the Empress in the traditional tarot, there we go, is the representation of the goddess in her most fertile form. She's abundant, bountiful, and a creative being. She's closely connected to nature because it's her child. She represents maternal energy and has more than enough love to give all who need nurturing. Yet she is a representation of the goddess Venus too, and yearns for a rich relationship with her counterpart, the Lord. In this card, she holds an apple. Its seeds form a perfect pentagram, which is in paganism represents the 5 elements of life, or the coins and pentacles that we just have spread throughout your reading here. Excuse me. And the external message says fertility, growth, and abundance are all imminent when the Lady arrives in your life. All the seeds you have planted are coming to life, and there are plenty more rewards to come. In a material sense, this card can represent financial security and comfort. It shows that there will be more than enough to go around. If you are making business deals or setting intentions to create financial growth, this card indicates a considerable amount of monetary success. The Lady can also usher in other forms of abundance, opportunities, like we said, new opportunities, right? Marriage proposals, and even the birth of a child. She will help you respect nature and connect with its forces in order to have a genuinely supported journey through life. So I love that for you. What more? I mean, abundance, abundance, abundance all over the place here. All right. Well, we're going to leave the reading there on that note. And just know, in addition to these readings, of course, I do monthly readings by each zodiac sign and like weekly energy updates by each of the elements, like water signs, fire signs, and several other readings throughout the month. So if you don't want to miss any of those and get notified when those messages come out, if you haven't done so already, just click the subscribe button down below. And when you do that, then this little notification bell is going to pop up. And when you click on that, you can set your settings to receive them notification as soon as the video is posted. So that's pretty easy breezy there. Yeah, other than that, I just want to let you all know that, throughout this winter solstice and each and every single moment of your life, you are unconditionally loved by the creator of all things, our mother and father of all things, the divine feminine and the divine masculine part of our creator. And of course, please know that I love you too. All right, well, enjoy this winter solstice, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. But until then, you take care. All right, on my Cancer signs, if you chose reading number 2, which is the black bear, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off pulling from these Surrender Oracle and just see overall for the winter solstice what the creator wants you to know about what's going into hibernation. So let's take a look. And we'll, of course, dig deeper into that as well. So, all right, creator, for our black bear of the Cancer signs, what would you like them to know? Okay, I feel like this is the one right here. And you've got surrender to the magic of who you are. So there's a beautiful card there. I'll let you see that, and then I'll read it. And it says, we all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that come from just being you. So what is going into hibernation are the blocks to this, the distractions, those things that have been kind of pushing you away and pointing outside of you, where you're not seeing the magic of who you are. So what's going into hibernation are all these blocks, these things that are keeping you from realizing that. And we're also going to pull a card here from the animal spirit and see what else the creator wants you to know about this. But this is beautiful because you're seeing just this beautiful energy, this beautiful awareness of who you really are, of the difference that you can make in the world, where you kind of felt like it said, like you just feel like you're just existing. And this is going to allow you to really feel that passion, that magic of living again. Or for the first time if you've never felt that. So, okay, creator, for our Cancer signs that chose the black bear, what else do you want them to know? Any others? I feel like, yeah, okay. Thought there was one more. Obviously there was. And got the wolf. And then you also have the otter. So let's put those here. Get those lined up here. And then let's see what energy that these bring in for you. So we'll start off with the wolf. Sorry, they're not in alphabetical order. I think I passed it up here. There it is. So this is guardian of the family and tribe, activism and ritual. The wolf's mission is to uphold the well-being and the longevity of the pack. Healthy wolf energy expresses itself through activism, mentorship, humanitarian efforts, or teaching, religious or political studies. The wolf gets into trouble when it assumes every member of the tribe must follow suit. This includes children walking in their parents' footsteps. Although it will surely be uncomfortable at first, practicing tolerance helps balance out agitated wolf energy. So contemplate the following: embrace all, exclude none. Because when you're in balance with this wolf energy, you're reliable, you're democratic, you're fearless. When you're out of balance, you're judgmental and dominating. So to bring this energy into balance, practice letting go. So yeah, of all these, I really feel like this energy is what they want you to be aware of, that it's this controlling energy of trying to control so many things. These are the blocks that are keeping you from realizing the magic of who you are, because one of the things that excuse me, you need to realize is to embrace all of you and exclude none of you. And so I don't feel this is so much about outside people as this message is specifically for you, to not reject any part of yourself. All those pieces that you were limiting and suppressing and all these beliefs that are blocking you have to do with the pack that you have grown up in and been around, telling you about who you're not, right? But you're finding during this period of time that those blocks are quieting down. You're getting past, it's funny, they're showing me, you're getting past all the holidays, all this time where you felt like you were obligated to spend time with so many people, but you're going to be able to, a wolf can also be on its own and be a lone wolf for a while, to spend time listening to your inner self and not to this pack that's going on there. Let's see what else comes with this otter here. There it was. There it is. Yeah. Unobstructed joy, playfulness, contentment. And this is what you do when you spend this time alone, right? Perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck, the otter represents absolute bliss. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child, available to us at any age. They have a giddiness and reverence for life itself, without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism. That's all the stuff that you're feeling from your pack when you were hanging around them. Imagine yourself with a little more otter energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The otter card begs these questions and wants to transport us to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. Because when you're in balance with this otter energy, then you're full of love and you need nothing. You're full of love for yourself. When you're out of balance, then you're gloomy, you sigh a lot, you make silly excuses. So to bring this into balance, it says dance party or celebration. So yeah, exactly as I was saying here. So all this darkness that's coming in from the pack that you've been around, it's time for you to be a lone wolf for a while. And because of that, this is like this celebration, this playfulness. It's like get away from all that and play, really discover this magic that's within you. And that doesn't necessarily mean, practicing witchcraft or, practicing magic, but it's about letting this magic of love, the self-love that's within you, which is the source of all magic, to flow out of you, to fill you up and flow out. So definitely is going to be this time of play, if you'll take some time alone. We're also going to pull some cards here from the Ancestor Tarot and to see what else the Creator wants you to know around this in the 3 months of the winter solstice. All right, so what else for our Cancer signs of the black bear, please? Okay, that's the one right there. Yes, the sun. I love it. Usually the sun card has a little naked baby on a horse, leaving the garden, getting out into the world, enjoying it, being out in the sun, being, bare and vulnerable to the sun, feeling the heat and the warmth. It's all about brightness, of course, and about success, vibrancy. So yeah, definitely this is what they want to bring you into this beautiful, sunny, joyful, bright place. Because really you've been feeling like you're in this dark. And I love this, how the otter even has, it's dark around it, but you have this big bubble of light, like this big sun. And this is you. This is that brightness, that flowing out of all that beautiful love energy from within you. So I definitely love this. We're going to dig more and get more information here, of course. And so we're going to pull cards for each of the 3 separate months within the winter solstice, which would be 1221 to 121, 121 to 221, and 221 to 321. So see what else the Creator wants you to know about this period of time. All right. So for 1221 to 121, please. Okay, I really feel like this one and just, no, not that one, this one. Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay, yes. All right. We'll do that one first since that one's seen. We'll talk about that Emperor here in a moment. And then 121 to 221. Okay. Anything else? Anything else for 121 to 221? Okay. And then 221 to 321. Okay. All right. And then overall, they just want to have that for the overall energy for just the whole message that's going to unfold here. So we'll start here, though, which this is so perfect for the message that you were getting here, because the 4, the Emperor, has 2 sides to it. There's the loving Emperor, which would be like the sun. It's this loving Emperor who brings all this kingdom together, caring not for themselves, but for the whole of the kingdom, creating roles that help people interact in a positive way together so that everyone can be successful and everyone can get along, and it can be this abundance of the entire kingdom, just beautiful, beautiful, loving Emperor. But there's a shadow side of the Emperor too, which is when the human side comes in, when our shadow gets involved, when it's afraid of the outside world. It wants to feel safe. So it needs to feel like it's in control. And so it creates all these roles to maintain its power, to grow its power, and to take power from others. And that would represent this wolf energy that we're having of the tribe, that there's these roles that were created in fear that made you feel like you're in darkness, that made you feel like you're suppressed, and that you're confined, and that you are less, you are powerless, you're nothing. It's that kind of all that, those judgments that come in from the wolf pack, like I was talking about. So this is the awareness of that. But this is beautiful too, because you got the 5 of Wands, and look at that conflict, look at that battle that's going on here. The Wands are your drive, your ambition, the spark in your life, the aha inspiration, and your spiritual energy. And the 5 is all about this transformation of your beliefs around this, the transformation of this energy. Because when you first start off, it looks like there's this battle going on, right? That would be like this pack going on. It's they're having all their, those staves, and it's like this kung fu movie. This is actually kind of what I see when I get the 5 of Wands. That it starts off, there's these 5 individuals with their big long stabs, and they're all battling each other, and you're like, oh my gosh, are they war? They're trying to hurt one another. And eventually there's one standing, and the rest of the other 4 laying on the ground, beaten, exhausted, and then they all laugh, and they all help each other up, and then they all walk, arm in arm, laughing as they head to the food hall to eat. And you realize that this wasn't what it seemed, that all this conflict that was happening was actually like these Zen Buddhist monks that were not trying to hurt each other, but they were helping each other grow their skills by the training that they were going through. And so there's this awareness that comes in that all these things that were being said were not what you thought they were. They were not personal, but that everyone was expressing their fears. And in doing that, that's helping everyone grow and face these lies, the lies that you are powerless and limited and small, because who you really are is this. When you look within yourself, you're more than this little character in this play that we're in. You are the actor behind this character, this powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love, this magical being. And you realize, okay, this is not what I thought it was. And there's this transformation that's happening from this dictator to loving emperor, from this thinking that everything was conflict and a battle, to understanding it wasn't personal and people were all trying to find their love, all trying to live their dream, and they just happen to be acting out of fear, which when we're in fear, we act out of our minds, right? And so that's what was going on. Yeah, because here's the Knight of Swords. Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. And so the Knight is all about movement. And so there's this movement of your thoughts and your beliefs, exactly what we were talking about. So there's this transformation here. And your Six of Swords, the theme for this entire thing is about movement too. The Knight and the Six of Swords kind of represent a lot of the same energy for me, in that these both can actually mean physical movement as well, but because of the swords are your mind, it's more a mental move. But you're going through this new portal and you're leaving old thoughts behind and moving to new thoughts and beliefs. And so that's what this whole thing is about. This journey of this winter solstice is letting old things die, like in autumn, and things are seeping in and creating opportunities for spring when it comes. So this whole period of time is about letting go of these thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you, about your limiting of yourself, that you're limited, right? And then this will be the foundation, and you'll have this movement which brings you into January 21st to February 21st. Yeah, more swords. Go figure. So you've got this Seven of Swords. Sometimes they're like, this is the thief, and beware. But for me, because this is all about your mind and your thoughts and your beliefs, this is the realization of how you've been deceiving yourself, how your thoughts and your beliefs have been limiting you. And you'll see two swords up here on the wall, which are like you're putting away thoughts and beliefs. So you're starting to realize those, you're only carrying 5 swords. 2 of them you already have made this movement where you're leaving old thoughts and beliefs behind. So you're making this movement. You're starting to make this movement. Yeah, 2 of Cups. Perfect. So cups are your emotions. The 2 cups here, sometimes it's like important relationships coming into your life. For me, the biggest relationship you can have is this bright one here, which is one is your physical human self and the other is your higher spiritual self. And for me, this is the joining together of this realization of who you really are, right? So your small human self that is seeking love finds it from within, for this unconditional love from above. And so you're finding this within yourself. You're finding this source of this bright being within yourself, to where that's what's allowing you to question these thoughts and these beliefs. Because if you're continually looking outside of yourself for your definition from your pack to tell you who you are, it all depends on the day, right? Someone can be feeling sick and that day you're stupid, right? The next week they're feeling a lot better and they're happy and they're excited about something in their life and they think you're wonderful. And so if you're using other people's, value of you to define your worth, it's going to be fluctuating like their emotions are fluctuating. But you find something solid, something bright, within, that is stable and eternal, unconditional, so it's not fluctuating all the time. Yep. And then you have the Six of Coins. So this is about finding because you're finding your worth from within, you're realizing, I call this the codependency card, or the awareness of codependency, because it's all about learning this balance between giving and receiving. And you realizing that this possible enabler mentality, this belief in yourself that you are worthless unless you can give something to someone, like it's no one would want to spend time with me just because of me, who I am. I have to be giving them something, or they're just going to go somewhere else and reject me. And that's that whole mentality of worth we were talking about. But you realize as you connect to this higher place that you deserve love. You deserve abundance. You deserve all this stuff. You deserve to be given to in your life, and then you are able to receive it. Whereas before, out of fear, you'd be afraid to receive because that puts you on the wrong end of that belief that, oh, if people are giving to me, that means I'm not giving to them, and then they're going to not need me, and they're going to think I'm, needy and run away from me, and blah, 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 blah. All those beautiful self-deceiving mindsets we're talking about with the Seven of Swords. So you do have this change in your awareness around your abundance and your ability and worthiness to receive. Yep, because here I have the Eight of Coins. So the Eight of Coins, eights are about like this education and this growth within it. I mean, especially the Eight of Pentacles or the Eight of Coins is about you've been doing this work. Either it's the physical work on the outside or this life work that you're doing. And you're putting, you've been producing a lot of stuff. But this is about moving from like the, what do they call it in the olden days when they used to, like, blacksmiths would take on someone that they would train. It's like an assistant. I can't think of the word right now, but you know what I mean, that you've been working to get up to master level, and this is about you're moving into this master level of it. And I really feel like because of this, we're talking about finding your magic from within. This is about you mastering this. It's about you taking major steps already so quickly within 2 months. And I'm not surprised, Cancer signs, you live and you breathe emotion, and because you're a water sign, so you understand and you can move quickly through emotions, which we're emotional beings who think. So as you figure out and you maneuver your emotional world, your mental world is coming into fast connection, which amazingly enough, February 21st to March 21st, you have the moon, and the moon is you. The moon is ruled by Cancer, or Cancer is ruled by the moon, I should say. And here's your wolves. So all this emotional basis, this is connecting so well. I mean, you got the sun and the moon so well connecting to that energy. And you're really realizing that we see the moon because the sun is reflecting off of it, right? So you're understanding this duality that you are, this Two of Cups. You're understanding this connection you have to the other side, and that, you are, more than just this human being going through things. You're so much more, and you're connecting to this beautiful energy from the February 21st to March 21st. Yeah, Queen of Coins, abundance, Mother Nature, Mother Nurture, new birth, abundance, overflowing. And the Queen of Coins has a lot to do with finding your worth from the inside, because both the King and the Queen of the Pentacles have been through the entire journey of the coins. And so they understand that when you try to find your worth from the outside world, like we're talking about, it's disappointment, and, you feel like you're going to get eaten by the pack, right? So this is about finding, that worth from inside, like we were talking about. Okay. Okay, so King of Coins. So again, where the Queen also brings in water energy. Coins are earth energy, so it's very grounding. But the Queen brings in also the water element because of the Divine Feminine. So that is connecting with this moon energy. But the King of Coins also brings in the air element along with the earth. So there's this beautiful balance of heart and mind in your worth here. So exactly what we're talking about with your emotional world and your mental world, this is the solid foundation and this grounding that's coming in as well. And side note, just abundance, that feeling of abundance, feeling from within and flowing out. Yeah. Then you have the Two of Wands. Wands, I don't think we talked about wands in your reading yet. No, oh yeah, I did over here. So that was your thought, your drive, your ambition, your aha, inspiration, your spiritual energy. The two is like the Two of Cups, where you're realizing that you have your human energy, but you have your spiritual energy that can come in as well. This also brings this planning. So, whereas before you were being distracted and pointed away from your inner magic and your inner energy of who you are. All this revelation, all this letting go and transformation of emotions and mind, this whole big spark allows you to make new plans with your life. Like you might have before thought, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. Now there's this switch up. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I want to do this other thing with my life. And this gives you that ability, especially this playfulness and this lone wolfness. You're not afraid to, all the backlash from your tribe, because you're off by yourself and you're making these decisions for you. And this is those new plans coming in. So I'm loving that. And then lastly, we'll pull a card here from the Bird Messages deck and just see what the final message is that the Creator has for you for this period. But yeah, definitely this overall energy of the swords is about movement in mind, or movement in or movement in location, and just this change of belief and mindset. So, all right, Creator, what's your final message for Cancer signs that chose the black bear, please? Okay, looks like you get 2. Oh, 3. Oh my goodness. So you got the flamingo. Beautiful. And that says, nourish your soul and you will survive harsh circumstances. And I love the pink and the pink, right? In these harsh circumstances that you're in, definitely finding your soul. And then you got the rhinoceros hornbill. Sorry for the glare there. And that one says, perfect trust will be rewarded with its like. So yeah, what can you trust? And like it's talking about, the only thing you can really trust is the stable, unconditional, internal, eternal love from the other side, not the external, conditional, unstable, constantly fluctuating, judgmental from the outside, right? And then lastly, you have this birdie here, which is the Western bluebird, the bluebird of happiness, right? And it says, lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. So I love that piece about spring, because we talked about that in the beginning, that winter's happening for a reason, that you're having this internal transformation here, and then that things are dying and falling away for a reason. But spring is just going to be abundant for you. It's just like going to be fast moving, fast growing, fast abundant. So, just know that this winter solstice period happens for a reason. And that spring, this is what you are able to achieve as you do this inner journey and this inner work. So I am loving that for you. In fact, I also want to read from the little book here for the Western bluebird. They want me to read that one specifically. And it says, the bluebird sings happily as fall turns to chilly winter. His daughters have flown the nest and his sons have paired with plump, chestnut-breasted loves from faraway forests. And now, this small community faces winter as one, dining on romantic mistletoe berries and snuggling together at night. In spring, those of Bluebird's sons who were fortunate in the lottery of love fly with their partners to new territories. So yeah, there's like this new territory in this movement, right, that we were talking about. Those whom Cupid forgot to visit stay in the family home, and when their parents' eggs hatch, they join in the roisterous celebration of new life by bringing fat insects to the wide open beaks of their squawking relatives. If, like Bluebird, you find yourself alone, lend a hand to those in need. Help friends or create life by caring for the natural world. And meanwhile, like Bluebird, be happy knowing that spring will arrive again with its new opportunities. So, love it. Beautiful, beautiful ending message there. And I don't have anything else to add to that. I just love this, that spring is coming, winter's happening for a reason, but know that it's totally worth it. So I'm going to leave it there. I'll let you know, in addition to these readings, I also do monthly readings by each zodiac sign and weekly readings by each, like energy updates for each of the elements, like fire signs, water signs, and a bunch of other readings throughout the month. So if you don't want to miss out on those and get notified as soon as those come out with the fresh messages that are coming in for you, if you haven't done so already, just make sure to click the subscribe button down below, and that's going to make this notification bell pop up. And when you click on that, that'll take you to your notification settings so you can set the notifications how you'd like to receive those. So easy breezy. All right, well, as you go throughout this winter solstice, know that each and every second of every day, you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. So have an amazing winter solstice. I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon, but until then, you take care. All right, all my Cancer signs, if you chose reading number 3, which is the polar bear, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off pulling cards here from these Surrender Oracle and just find out overall for the winter solstice what the Creator wants you to know about what's going into hibernation. So we'll do one more time here. All right, so for our Cancer signs of the polar bear, what would you like them to know about what's going into hibernation? Okay, actually, that is the one right there. And you have got surrender to rest and sleep. Perfect. And I'll let you see that, and then I'll read it. It says, to prevent burnout, slow down, honor your need for quiet time and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, your body, and your spirit. So you are the one that's going into hibernation, which is great, because this means that you have been wearing yourself down, and it is time for you to hibernate. It's time for you to get away from all the activity of this year. And I know, it's coming into the end of this year and the beginning of the next year. But it is important for you to rest and to sleep. It doesn't mean that you can't make progress on things, especially for the new year, but this is about making sure you're making your rest and sleep a priority. We're also going to pull, of course, more cards and get into more detail here. And we're going to pull a card here from the Animal Spirit deck. And we'll just see what else the Creator wants you to know around this surrender to your rest and your sleep. So what else for our Cancer signs of the polar bear? Okay. You got 2 here. You've got the whale. Beautiful. I was going to make a whale sound, but I won't scare you. And then we've got the fire ant. So beautiful 2 energies there. And let's see. Well, look here first from the whale and just see what energy they bring in for you here. Which, of course, whales can go deep diving into the emotional waters, which you are a water sign, of course. So you are very comfortable with deep diving into the emotional side of things. Let me just find them here. It's not alphabetical, so sorry for the delay here. There it is. So this is desire to delve deeper, like I was talking about, profound peace and ancient wisdom. So the whale represents profound emotional health and stability. So whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. And I'm sure you relate to that. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is usually linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hour. When you're in balance with this energy, then you have a sense of calm, you feel steady, you're deeply compassionate. When you're out of balance, then you feel heavy and you slip into an old story. So to bring this into balance, what does it say? Regular self-care. So there is this message of peace and taking care of yourself, profound emotional health and stability. So really making sure you take time for this. You know, you are a bright light for so many, and you are support so many emotionally. This is time for you, though. So you get to take time for you. And then let's take a look at this fire ant energy as well. Let me just find him in here. Come on. Nope, not yet. There it is, of course, probably the last page. This is aggression, rigid thinking, following orders. Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misalign fire ant energy, and it tells you that that energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. Because when you're in balance, you're thoughtful and you're disciplined. But when you're out of balance, you argue, you have excessive heat, and you're gossiping. So to bring this into balance, solo time also walks at night. So definitely this is the energy that they were talking about that needs balancing. And so it says, don't lie to yourself that it isn't impacting you. It's time for you to have time away, time alone, dive deep like a whale where a lot of people can't go. And you get to rest and you get to sleep and you get to self-nurture. So I like that because you definitely do so much for so many people. It's time for you. We're also going to pull some cards here from the Ancestor Tarot and see what else the Creator wants you to know about this winter solstice, and this rest and this sleep. Right, what else for our Cancer signs of the polar bear? Okay, that's the one right there. And you get justice. Dun, dun, dun. This is not about revenge. She has the Ace of Swords here. Justice is about the balancing out of things. I mean, you can see the symbol there of the Libra for the balance. The yin and the yang, or yang, depending on how you say it. But it's the balancing of the scales. It's the balancing out of things. It's about finding balance. Yeah. Do we even need to add anything more to that? Well, I think the other thing that they want to add is the capital T truths that come with this Ace of Swords, because this is the Ace of Swords. And so you're able to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that no longer serve you. Those things about trying to change people, and that certain people have to be a certain way, act a certain way. It allows you to let them be who they are, because you're going to allow yourself to be who you need to be and who you are. And so you don't need to worry about all that. And it's cutting away those things that made you feel exhausted, all this energy here that comes with that fire ant. It's like you're realizing that, no, you don't need to worry about that. You don't have to try to control all the ants, their anger, however they're doing. If they get upset, they get upset, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to take on their emotions, right? And I feel like there's this beautiful awareness that's going to come for you during this period of time, that you are gifted with the ability to feel everyone's emotions, and you get to feel them deeply, right? With your well energy and your water energy. But that's just a it's a wonderful gift to have, but it's only like a part of your gift, like this two-edged sword of this justice here. You get to feel everyone's emotions, but you also get to influence other people's emotions with your beautiful energy. You have like this big fire hose of beautiful energy, because you're water, right? That shoots out all that energy, all that beautiful, unconditional, loving energy. And you can walk into a room and you can change it in positive ways or in fearful, emotional, dark emotional ways, bright emotions or dark emotions. So you can be they're showing me like this big thunderstorm that rolls in, and lightning and thunder, and people are like, and they take cover. Or you can come in and you're like this beautiful bright sunlight that burns away the clouds, and people are like, oh. And so that's your ability, and your energy, you can purposely and intentionally send that energy out, that positive, beautiful sunlight of unconditional love. And if you're that fire hose, if it's on full blast and all that energy is flying out intentionally to bring love and joy and light, then their emotions can't flood back in, because you ever try to put anything inside a fire hose, it just goes flying away and it can't come into you. So if you feel like I take on everyone's emotions so much, that is something you can do as well, is to just focus on when you feel people's emotions coming in, realize that's only a small piece of your power, but the real power that you have is to be able to just switch that and do that. But that's, for this is about you resting and sleeping and self-nurturing during this time. But on the other side, in spring, when you come back out of hibernation, just know you have that ability, and that helps you keeps you from becoming so exhausted yourself. And this belief that you have to save everyone and make everyone feel better. Everyone gets to feel their feels, but you can help them, make it an easier choice for them to choose brighter emotions than dark emotions with your energy influence. But again, they're telling me, but for the winter solstice, it's time to hibernate. All right, we're going to dig more here. You can tell them too. People are like, hey, I need to hang out. And they're like, you know what? Bretta Zen told me I'm supposed to hibernate, so I'll see you in spring. You can blame it on me. Right. And these are the Tarot of Dreams. And we're going to pull cards here for the 3 months of the winter solstice, 12/21 to 1/21, 1/21 to 2/21, and 2/21 to 3/21. So, Creator, for our polar bear Cancer signs, what do you want them to know about 12/21 to 1/21? Okay, I feel like these three here. What about 1/21 to 2/21? Okay, just two. Yeah, okay. And then for 2/21 to 3/21. Okay. Okay, got those two. And then that one for overall. So let's take a look and see what we've got. So 12/21 to 1/21, you've got the High Priestess. Okay, makes total sense. What does the High Priestess do? She connects to the moon, to the deep energy. She dives deep like the whale, but she also goes away to her temple to get away from all the noise and the quiet. So this definitely goes right in line here with you connecting to those deep depths, those deep things. You have the moon. So the moon is about, going through it goes through its phases of, becomes dark as the new moon, moves away from the sun, and then it becomes bright again. And so this is that phase of this time where, in the northern hemisphere, we're tilting away from the sun. So it's time for some sleepy time where it has darker nights, more time to sleep, more time to rest, more time for you connecting to your deeper depths, not about the external fiery world. So I love that came for you. Yep, 9 of Cups. It's time. Cups are your emotions and your water, right? 9 is about finding it within and feeling all this abundance and overflowingness from inside you, not from the outside. So this is time. Look how this is you when you're spending time alone, getting away from all that loudness of the outside world, all this fire and energy. You're just like, So definitely a time for rest and rejuvenation, party time. Oh, yeah, I had a feeling the Ace of Swords was going to come out. So that's the Ace of Swords we talked about, and here's that Ace of Swords. So, yep, very cutting to the point of everything we've talked about. This is the month you have this ability to cut away those things that don't serve you, to be happy on the inside and filling up and overflowing and taking time away for you, going into your beautiful moon temple away from things. I also feel that during this winter solstice period for you, the moon is going to be a huge influence. It always is anyway, but during this time there's a special mission that's going to be accomplished with the moon energy. So pay close attention to the cycles of the moon. I put out readings by each zodiac sign for the full moon and new moon. And so I'll mention it at the end too, but I would really, if you haven't subscribed to get notified when the new videos come out, I would, specifically for that reason, so that you can get notified as soon as those come out, because it'll talk about usually the week before and the 2 weeks after each new moon and full moon. So it'll really give you some details on how those moon energy and those influences will have over you. Okay. And I'll remind you at the end of this video, hopefully. Then, so all this awareness is bringing you into January 21st to February 21st. Yep, and you got the Three of Cups. So this is, again, more water energy, more cups. This is celebration, and it talked about celebrating. Let's be happy. Let's, get out and do things. The Three of Cups also, there's a couple things. The first that I want to mention is that it also represents connecting, like the High Priestess, to the other side. For me, personal reasons, my guides have set this up as a reminder for your spirit guides, your angels, your guardian angels, your loved ones on the other side, your ancestors, any of those beings of unconditional love and light that you have on the other side. That's this is them saying, hey, contact us, communicate with us. It also represents, though, the Three Cups represent the things that we think are supposed to fulfill us in the outside world, and those are like relationships, like romantic relationships, family, friends, work, our relationships with our fur babies and feather babies, whatever it might be. It's like we look outside of ourselves thinking this is going to make us feel whole and complete. Or the other second cup is like situations like jobs, education. And the third cup is like physical things like our human body, possessions, our bank account, whatever. And so that also is that these things on the outside, they're not going to make you feel whole and complete. They're going to make you feel like you need rest and sleep, because that's what this brings. When we try to go into the outside world and control so much of it, that's what that fire at energy, right? Coming in, that's where stress comes. But when you connect to the higher realms, you connect to your inner, temple and your inner self. That's where you feel that whole and complete. But I think overall, they wanted you to know all that, but re-emphasis on celebrate and take time to partay in whatever that means for you, whether that means going on some sort of little mini vacation, or if that means getting a nice cup of coffee and a drink and reading somewhere, or in your car in silence somewhere, whatever it might be for you. Party your hearty out. Yeah. Because you have the Six of Cups, so many cups, so much emotion, not a surprise, right? But this is the nostalgia card. It's about reflecting on old emotions, which makes sense that as you connect and you're taking this deep diving and going back, they're transforming, you see all the blossoming, the beautiful blossoms that are sitting in here. So this is about taking time to focus on the good memories, on beautiful things, like this whole celebration in this. I'm getting this message of focus on gratitude, focus on what you're thankful for, not on all this stuff here. But when you're doing your deep diving, don't get caught up in all the past reflection of emotions, which is what, Cancer signs like to do. They like to review emotions and see if they need to be edited or re-emphasized or replayed, But I have this memory that's popping in my head that they want me to say. It's I heard it from a pastor in a church like a long time ago, and he mentioned, like, when it comes to memories, it says, don't nurse it, don't rehearse it, but disperse it so God can reverse it. So, we don't have to rehearse and nurse old, all this stuff that's going on. It's about releasing it so that it can be reversed and changed into something that you can be grateful for rather than something that's destroying your life type of thing, right? Which brings you into 221 to 321. And I love that you're getting the Eight of Wands. Wands are all about spark, ambition, inspiration, and spiritual energy. It also represents movement. So this is about maybe you are, moving somewhere, or it's movement towards something. So maybe, like you talked about, going on a vacation, going in a direction, choosing to, make movement of some kind in your life. And it's quick movement too. But I also love that this represents messages. And because wands for me represent spirit, like we talked about here, you're connecting to the moon and the other side, you're connecting to the other side. This is about, be aware that you're going to be getting messages all over the place. I mean, you see all these winged creatures here. These are all these beautiful messengers from the other side that are going to be messages from all over the place, whether it's outside of you, like, license plates or songs, or, getting some sort of weird email with the subject line that you're like, oh my God, it had nothing to do with, what the email was saying, but it means something to you, It's like that kind of thing. You just get all these synchronicities and all these messages from the outside. You can also get messages to your brain where you might not be thinking of someone or something at all, and suddenly this thought drops into your head, or this memory gets touched on, which this can also mean this with this Three of Cups, that you have these memories that are being touched by the other side, by loved ones who are on the other side, and they just want to let you know that, hey, that's just to let you know that I'm around you. I'm always around you, but this is to remind you that I'm around you. So you'll get messages just from all kinds of spirit. You just need to pay attention and you'll see those. And then you have the Emperor. So I love this about letting go of control is the big message that I'm having here, that during this period of time, continue, especially when this comes around, just be this loving emperor who's not trying to dictate and be a dictator over everyone else's life, and that you need to have things be a certain way. This is about a loving emperor, about pouring out and allowing just this beautiful energy to unfold out there. Kind of like this mentioned here, I think, in where it was like, allow yourself just to be a loving source of guidance, but don't take on anyone's responsibility for their choices, and don't give unsolicited advice. Did you hear that? That's a big one for me. Unsolicited advice. If spirit is telling you to tell someone something, that's different. But if your ego, that's the dictator, when it goes up and go like, well, this is what you should be doing and blah, 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 that's that fire energy, right? It's like, nope, we don't need to be busy ants. We can just be, loving. And then if someone goes, well, what do you think? And you're like, you really want to know what I think? Well, this is what I did in my life. And so take that with what you will. You don't become a policeman to make sure everyone's taking your advice, doing everything that you think they're supposed to do. This is just about being a loving emperor going, here's, abundance and joy, she'll share that. Yeah, because here's the Four of Coins. Four of Coins is kind of like what I talked about, which is this, having enough where you can give something to someone else, but you're not going to give up your sustenance. This is about being whole and complete within yourself. The fours are about four solid foundation, like a table. So this is about being just solid in your worth, in yourself. And it keeps on going back to me, not giving your sustenance away. Everyone else during this time gets your overflow, not your life sustenance. So picture yourself as a beautiful cup, like one of these cups, right? And you have all this beautiful love energy flowing into you from the other side. It fills up, and then everyone else gets the overflow. They're not piped in where they get and drain it before you're full. This is a time for you to be full. Everyone else gets the overflow, not your sustenance. Yeah. 9 of Swords. So here we're coming full circle. The swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets. This Ace of Swords, this is what it's cutting away. This is called the insomnia card, the nightmare card, and you're exhausted. You're one step away from exhaustion. And so this is the reminder to you that don't be tempted. You have taken a month, you've taken 2 months, you're like, okay, time to take back on all my nightmares. No, this Ace of Swords that you were using to cut away all these thoughts and these beliefs of all these little, all these other swords, you don't have to take that on. And who's peeking behind the tree but your moon? So definitely paying attention to the moon cycles, especially full moons when your energy is already exploded and exaggerated and magnified. Anything that you focus on is just going to be even more magnified. And I feel like this is that message for you, especially during this February 21st to March 21st timeline. Any full moons or new moons, the lunar cycles, pay special attention during this month around them. What you're focusing on, because that is going to be magnified in your life. Yep. And then you have the 2 of Swords is your final message. And lo and behold, you have the moon, the swords, again, your thoughts and beliefs, this balancing out, making decisions not by, the logic and the mind. You can see how has herself blinded here, so where she's not looking at things from the outside. That's what we would see as the fire ant. But the moon is what you're diving into throughout this period of time, and trusting that deep diving and getting alone with all of that. So I really feel, again, you have the Libra balancing symbols, the same one that's on that card there. So strong message of balance during this 3-month period. But balance for you, you're such a giver and you give so much of yourself. It really is like you need to overbalance and overcompensate, because if you're like, it's like you give away your entire meal to someone, they go, be more balanced. And you're like, okay, I'll have the pickle. It's like, no, you need to eat the entire meal because you need that strength. You need that. So, that's like when they're saying balancing in your mind is not balancing because you sacrifice so much of yourself. It's like it's time to you just have the entire meal. And then if you are truly full, then you can give it the rest away to someone else. That's that overflow. But don't be like, well, I'm full enough. No, you need to be full. This is a time. It's important for your health. It's important because the greatest gift you can give the world is a whole, complete, healthy, full you. Because when you're full and whole and complete, what you give is so much more juicier and delicious than when you're giving out of resentment. Because it's bitter tasting, it's sour tasting instead of sweet tasting. Okay. All right. And then the final card we're going to pull is from these chakra reading cards. And we're just going to see what the final message is for all you Cancer sign polar bears. All right. What's your final message for our Cancer sign polar bears, please? Okay, here we go. And you've got, yep, the I am presence. Beautiful. That's card number 30, which 3 is the Empress. which is Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. So they pointed that out. So that's just more confirmation and affirmation. It's time for you. It's time for your self-nurturing. And this is the crown chakra, so no shock there about connecting to the other side. So this card is coming to you as an indication that you are connecting to your I am presence at a deeper level. So this is a call to connect at such a deeper level. Just like each of us have angels and spirit guides that walk with us in the higher realms, we also have an aspect of ourselves that resonates in this higher state of consciousness. The I am presence is the all-loving, all-knowing, all-wise aspect of yourself that holds profound guidance and wisdom at all times. It resonates pure, loving, and healing energy and is the angelic and divine aspect of our soul. Your I am presence pours its love and wisdom upon you, and you're being asked to open and receive its divine light. Your I am presence is calling for you to connect deeply with this divine aspect of yourself. If you've been feeling lost and lack direction, your I am presence holds the answers to your questions and is offering you divine guidance loud and clear. Yes, definitely. This aspect of yourself is the best guide for you right now. It's time to allow and trust yourself at this deeper level. You're being guided to take some time to strengthen and deepen this connection by meditating, writing, and doing those things that allow you to feel the higher vibration of your soul. There's an abundance of positive energy flowing to you as you walk closer with your I am presence, as it creates a deeper feeling of fulfillment and well-being in your life. It's time to listen and take note of the wisdom that's pouring into your soul at this time. And this card may also indicate that you've been working on deepening this divine connection and that your life is starting to resonate more positivity. Your I am presence is celebrating your hard work and commitment to your higher state of being. So keep up the great work. And the affirmation card for this, the affirmation for this card is, my I am presence shines brightly through me for all to see. So beautiful, beautiful message here. Definitely taking time for yourself and about deeper connections, going and taking this time to connect to yourself so that you can feel rested, rejuvenated, and it's just going to flow out. It'll bring amazing things for you in springtime, which is, I imagine, when you're going to come out of hibernation. That's what you'll do. 3 months will be max. I know it's like that's pushing it for you, but it's important for you to take this winter solstice time for you. So I'm going to leave it at that. They're like, oh, one more time. Like, I think they heard it enough. So you get it. But just know, as you're going throughout this winter solstice, that each and every second of every day, you are unconditionally loved by the Mother and Father of all things, our Creator, and that entire posse and support team on the other side. And of course, I love you too. All right. I just want to let you know, in addition to these, I told you I was going to remind you that in addition to these readings, I also do monthly readings by each zodiac sign. I do like weekly energy updates for like water signs, fire signs, etc. The new moon and the full moon readings, and a couple other readings throughout the month. So if you want to get notified as soon as those come out and are available for you, just if you haven't done so already, of course, click the subscribe button down below. And then that's going to make this little notification bell pop up. And if you click on that, then you go into your notification settings and you just set them to receive them as soon as they come out. And then when they do, you'll be in the know immediately and be aware of all the energies that are coming in for you and any other messages, of course, of love from above for you. All right. Well, enjoy this amazing winter solstice time for you, your little R&R time. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. But until then, you take care.